Hi guys, so today I am finally getting around to doing the car seat safety series that I've been wanting to do and has been requested by a few people. So today will be just what the current recommendations are for your kids in car seats. So we'll get started right on from birth. I'm going to be reading, I have my Kindle in front of me with some info on here, just so I'm not rambling. So I'm going to start with NHTSA, which is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and their recommendations. So from birth to 12 months, your child should ride in a rear-facing child restraint. That can either be in an infant seat, which I'm sure most everybody is familiar with the handle, and you take it in and out of the car. Works in the stroller, that kind of thing, or in a convertible car seat. Ages 1 to 3 years. Your child should remain rear-facing as long as possible. The best way to keep him or her safe is in a rear-facing child restraint until they reach the top height or weight limit for that seat. The American Academy of Pediatrics has also changed their recommendations in 2011 to say that children under 2 years of age should remain rear-facing, and then until they reach the maximum height and weight for their convertible car seat. I know it's a big deal for a lot of people. For some reason, people do not want to hear that their child should be rear-facing as long as possible. I don't get it. It's not some crazy thing that somebody has just dreamed up randomly. This information is coming from recognized nationally and internationally medical and safety associations and groups. So I don't understand what people's backlash is to that. I understand that we don't want to make change and that can be hard for some people, but just when it comes to the safety of your child, I don't understand where it comes from. So anyway, so those are the recommendations. And then from 4 to 7 years old, keep your child in a forward-facing car seat with a harness until he or she reaches the top height or weight limit allowed by your car seat's manufacturer. Once your child outgrows a forward-facing car seat with a harness, it's time to travel in a booster seat, but still in the back seat. So from ages 4 to 7 years old, we want kids to stay in a harness. And that's mostly because until around age 5 or 6, most kids don't have the developmental maturity to stay properly seated in a booster 100% of the time. That means that they don't lean, they don't reach for things that they've dropped, they don't slouch in the seat, they don't turn around to try and look out of the windows if they hear a siren or a horn honk outside of the car. They don't fidget, they don't play with the seatbelt, that kind of thing. So that's when, if your child can do those things and they meet all the minimums for the particular seat, then they could be moved into a booster, but I'm not going to recommend a booster for a child under 4 years old, ever, or even a 4-year-old. I usually recommend that people put their child back in a harness. Cut off on me there. And then ages 8 to 12 years old, keep your child in a booster seat until he or she is big enough to fit in the seatbelt properly. For the seatbelt to fit properly, the lap belt must lie snugly across the upper thighs, not on the stomach. The shoulder belt should be snug across the shoulder and chest and not across the neck or face. Remember, your child should still be in the back seat. And then that's the other thing. People get crazy when they hear that their child should be in a booster up to 12 years old. So the recommendation is until 4'9" is when most kids start to fit in the adult seatbelt properly. And that is the height of a 50th percentile 11-year-old. So 50% of 11-year-olds still need booster seats. So that's the problem. I know what the law says varies. I'm in Virginia, and Virginia says 8 years old. Pretty much no 8-year-old is going to fit properly in an adult seatbelt. So the risks of that are when they don't fit properly, the lap portion of the belt will ride high up on their stomach, the soft part of their stomach, and in an accident, what can happen is the belt will cut into the stomach. You know, because you crash, the seatbelt catches you, and if the seatbelt is on that soft part of your stomach, it's just going to keep going and going and going until it hits something hard, which would be your spine. So in that whole process, you're having internal organs that are being crushed along the way, and then we're looking at spinal issues. You know, once the seatbelt finally catches, you know, on the spine. So those are the big risks. I think it's called seatbelt syndrome. So if you're curious about that, go ahead and look that up. Another one is that if the belt doesn't fit correctly and it kind of rubs on their neck or something, they'll have the tendency to tuck the shoulder belt underneath their arm or either behind their back, which is also very bad because then the upper body is not being restrained and they're at risk for kind of like jackknifing over the seatbelt, which then you have still the abdominal injuries, and then you have spinal injuries, and then we have head injuries from them striking the inside of the car in front of them. So that's not safe. So that is why we need boosters until we fit in the adult seatbelt. They call it the 5-step test to get out of a booster. The child needs to be able to sit all the way back on the seat with their back and butt all the way back. Knees need to bend easily at the edge of the seat, and it's encouraged that feet also touch the floor. The lap belt wants to fit snug across the top of the thighs, like we said, and the shoulder belt should go across the center of the chest and across the center of the shoulder. Another thing that doesn't get mentioned much is that everyone in the car needs vehicle head support at least to the tops of their ears. This is for whiplash protection. Super important for kids. So if your child doesn't have that, they need to be moved to a sitting position where there is a headrest. If there's not one available, we need to put them in a high back booster that does not require vehicle head support for as long as they fit in it. And then hopefully we can figure out something else so they have head support. So I think that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, obviously please leave them below, or please feel free to send me a message, or I also encourage everyone to join the Facebook group Car Seats for the Littles. It's a closed group, so you will have to be approved to get in there. Usually doesn't take very long. There's a bunch of admins, and somebody is usually always around to do so. And you can go in there and ask questions and read, and there are plenty of competent techs and admins and parent advocates in the group that can help you answer any of your questions. So that is it for today, and I'm going to go ahead and try to record my next video. It looks like Bee's still asleep, so bye guys.